Here we are in the hive. It's all live. Right here, Tuesday. You know what to do. It's break on through. With my special guest. I was going to give you a nice intro, but okay, here they come. They're coming on into the house now. Well, we got 1, 3. John Ross is watching with us now. Hey, John. Hey, Flip. How's it going there, Hoss? Come on, let's get some more people in here before I start giving good intros and giving good info. Nikki's here. Brandon Brooks is watching. Matt Milken. What's up, Matt? Leighton Underwood. I like that name. Yep. As you can see, I'm not the only one on screen today. I'm going to go ahead and start his intro. It's a man that needs no introduction. But we'll go ahead and give him one anyway. He is the star of record. We're talking 7-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch, 6-inch, 4-inch, 3-inch, cassette tape, 8-track tape, reel-to-reel tape, CD, streaming, DVD, VHS, jukebox, streaming service. He's done it all. He's seen it all. He's been everywhere. He's been up. He's been down. He's been all around town. Let me introduce to you the man that needs no introduction. From the great state of Connecticut, Mr. Malcolm Tent. Everybody give him a round of applause. Glad to have you here, Malcolm. Always a pleasure.
Darn good to be here, Jeffrey K. Clayton.
Oh! Man, it's October, what, 19th?
19.
It's October 19th. Damn, this month is flying by. I got a few announcements before we get into the program. Let's see here. But first of all, my good buddy Janice Blythe, Ruby, from the Hills Have Eyes 1 and 2, will be performing live, not performing, but accepting fans to meet and greet live tomorrow night at Quads in Palm Springs, California. If you're in the area, it's 5:45. You don't want to go home yet. You want to meet a true star. You just go by Quads, 6 o'clock. Janice will be there live. You can talk to her, get some pictures signed. And if that ain't enough, then this Sunday she will be interviewed by our old pal Bloody Mess, now known as Derek Moody, on the Church of Rock radio station. So keep all that in mind. And you know, also this week, the reason Mr. Tent is even here is because ANTiSEEN is playing. You know what? I'm gonna say live, you know, because that's the way you should do it, I think. But it's 2021, and most people would opt for, oh yeah, we're playing live October 22nd at Freeman's Pub in Gastonia, you know, or they'd be yeah, man, we got a show Friday, October 22nd. Or it's going to be Hey, come on out. We're playing live October 22nd. It's going to drop. It's going to pop. Come on out and experience some high energy rock and roll. I don't like those. I don't like that way of doing stuff. So I will go on the record as saying ANTiSEEN, and y'all can say, Jeff Clayton, when you do that, it's not funny. It's not necessary. People are messaging us like crazy. It's not necessary to do it. But you know what? It's break on through. And I think it is necessary. Because ANTiSEEN is playing live this Friday. Gastonia, North Carolina. Freeman's Pub. With special guest, Stop Talking. Now, I know a lot of you out there are nice and compliant now. And when you hear that, you go, oh. But, no. That's the name of a band. It's not a mandate. The band is called Stop Talking. So you can still talk. You notice Malcolm 10 has not talked yet. Maybe this is his new gimmick he's doing. But Stop Talking, and in my humble opinion, and my opinion is not very humble, one of the best out of the area, Queen City Rejects. Not the Cockney Rejects, Queen City Rejects. Can you dig it? Johnny Dick's 50th birthday party. He's going to remember it. Oh, yeah. He's going to remember when he turned 50. Freeman's Pub. In the year 2021. In the year 2021, everyone went to Gastonia and had a whole lot of fun. Because they did not comply. Well, I don't know where to go from there.
There's nowhere to go.
Where do we go from here? All right. You know, Malcolm.
Yes.
Have you some break on through brew there.
Oh, boy, howdy. I'll start talking now. I will say this. There are people who will walk a mile for a camel. I drove 810 miles for some hibiscus tea made with the special secret, well, not secret.
Not secret so much.
Maybe secretive Jeff Clayton recipe. This is the real stuff right here, people. This fair vessel really is the elixir of life as far as I'm concerned.
One day I will make it live for you. So you can all experience it.
As for now, watch it and weep.
You know, Malcolm, last week I got to talking about women in music. I didn't finish really talking about what I wanted to talk about. So I'm gonna finish up with that right now. And if you have anything to ask or add, please feel free. But one artist I didn't mention who is a extreme favorite of mine was Amy Winehouse. It sounded like I just was all this mainstream, which I guess Amy was mainstream in her own right, but you know, a lot of the R&B women that I was quite fond of was Gwen McCrae from your neck of the woods,
Hialeah, Florida.
So now I understand she's in Pensacola. Betty Wright, Denise Lasalle. If none of you have ever listened to any Denise Lasalle, do yourself a favor and remedy that today. Spotify, her first 2 or 3 records from the 70s. I think her first one was maybe from 71 or 2. You can't go wrong. Every track, killer, no filler. Why this lady wasn't more popular, I do not understand. See, there's a lot of stuff like that I don't understand. And that's why you shouldn't ask old JC if you want to know what's going to be popular and what's going to do well. I just know what I like. And Denise Lasalle, I like her. And I took a recommendation from you. I listened to that fella that you said was a big influence to Mark Farner.
Oh, Howard Tate.
Howard Tate.
Yeah.
And man, immediately I heard it.
Yeah.
I heard it all through. I think there were 2 of his older things on there, and I listened to both of them, and I was just like, you can see where it all comes from.
Totally. The way
We all get it from somewhere.
Yeah.
No one invents it right out of the top of their head. Even Captain Beefheart. Even though it may sound like he does, it comes from somewhere. It came from somewhere. But, yeah, just kind of wrapping up the whole ladies and music thing. I just never, ever liked the whole, oh, they were good for girls.
Right. Right.
No, some bands were good for guys. but I mean, the fact that they were women did not was not like a gimmick as far as I was concerned. It wasn't a selling point or a turn off point. It was just as good as good. And I think when you really love music, that's the way you approach it. And that's really all I have to say. I'm not, like I said, I'm not some feminist nut job or anything. It just really bugged me to always hear that. They're okay for girls. Right?
Yeah, what's good is good. I'll throw in a little bit of observation I got. A while back, I came across a random cassette mixtape from this radio station in New Jersey, and it was made in the early 90s, and it was a really nice mix of like really good pop music, not top 40 radio bullshit, but like real pop music, everything from the Velvet Underground to REM, and there was a Go-Go's track on there. And so just hearing this one track by the Go-Go's in the middle of REM and all these other bands, and just hearing the musicianship and the production and the lyrics and the arrangements, fucking good, dude. Real good. I'd stack the Go-Go's up with any, if you want to say pop, pop band out there. They kick butt.
And you know, if you want to, a lot of times you can say, well, you know, there's the whole genre of heavy metal, but a lot of groups I like, I think deserve better than just the label of heavy metal, like Girl School.
Oh yeah.
I've seen Girl School live. I've been a fan ever since I discovered them in the 80s. And they deliver live, man. And as far as I know, they still do. And Betsy from the band Bitch from LA. Still out there kicking ass, bringing it all the time. Not good for girls, just fucking good. Can you dig it?
I'll dig it.
Speaking of digging something, man, I got something here I want to show everybody. Now, I didn't even tell. I told Malcolm I had something, but I didn't tell him what it was. Malcolm, do you know what this might be?
No, but it looks interesting, seeing where it's coming from, which would be Cascade record pressing.
Cascade record pressing. Now, I'm opening this up. I know what it is, but I tell you what,
Oh, wait a minute. I might have an idea as to what this is. This could be something. Could this be something that you've talked about before on Break On Through?
It is something I've talked about before on Break On Through.
Ooh, and it's a single.
Yes.
You know, I'm sure, don't know if the viewers could see the proportionate size of the box, but it is a 7-inch single shipping box. And there is definitely something resembling 7-inch singles in there, and it's from a pressing plant. Core blimey. What could it be? I think I know what it is. And I'll bet any of you who've been watching Break On Through know what this is. I'm going to bet money that I know what this is. Anybody out there care to guess? Anybody out there who's been paying attention to Break On Through for the past few weeks? Do you
Everybody?
people know?
God damn it. Everybody, this is what we call in the business a test pressing. Not lathes. A test pressing. This is of Longhaired Weirdo Records number 001. Of the record of Scott Savage's Memento Mori. Now, I was told there was an issue with the second side, and that they may have had to redo the stampers, but take a look at that. Malcolm, you're a man that looks at test pressings a lot. That looks to me like it's in line pretty damn good.
Looks good. They both look good.
We're going to be listening to this later.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
You have no idea how excited I am about this. This is a very, very important release for me. I'm not even worried about do I sell them all. I'm just worried about that it gets out in the first place, because I feel part of having this platform we have here, I'm going to help in making sure the legacy of Scott Savage stays intact. Dylan, you want to know how to get one? Well, you ain't getting one of these test pressings there, son. But when this comes out, well, believe me, you'll know. You will have to live under a rock to not know when this record comes out. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I ain't lying to you.
You might also have to live in Iraq.
Yeah. You can live in Iraq, under a rock, to not know about this record when it comes out.
You just have to not be able to rock at all,
right,
if you didn't know about that record.
Mm-mm.
But, you know, I think these people don't suffer from that problem.
Nope.
Not too badly.
They're
anyway.
going to know. I don't know. Maybe some of the test pressings will become available. I don't know. This is, like I said, a very, very important release to me. And I don't know. I'm a little off kilter right now. I'm very excited that it's here.
Yeah, it's cool. How often does anybody get to release a record or do any kind of work with somebody who they respect, you know, that much, or who is that formative to their upbringing? And all you people who have seen Break On Through, you've heard about the influence that Scott Savage has had on ANTiSEEN as a band and Jeff Clayton as a human being. That's cool. You get to actually do this.
And
you know?
I mean, it really sucks that he's not here to enjoy this re-release, but he knew it was coming. So I can go to bed at night knowing that he knew that the effort was being made. So you see that, Dina Sods? Test pressing here.
I think it's pretty darn cool myself.
Well, thank you. And I also told you guys last time that we would be working on our new record. Well, this weekend, a lot of that got taken care of. We are now done with the drums. And Mad Brother Ward laid down some heavy guitar. We're working with a new engineer, Jimmy Tutterow. And all I can say is from what we've got so far, which is very basic, I think you folks are going to be amazed at the finished product, and I think we are going to be as well. And I guess when Malcolm comes back in November, he's going to be laying down some bass, and I'll probably around the time I lay down some lead vocals. That's the part you're all waiting on. Did you want to hear what the word is? So, but y'all, you know, with the supply chain stuff that's all going on, it's affecting every single business that you could possibly think of. Not just the ones that you know, grocery stores, drug stores, department stores that you would see on a daily basis. Man, it is affecting every business, including businesses that press records. So next on dock for ANTiSEEN is Live from Quarantine 2. Halloween in Quarantine, recorded a year ago. The plan was to have it come out about now, but just not working out that way. Not by any fault of ours or Cascade or TKO, but just by the supply chain being damaged all the way around. The next on deck will be the reissue of Here to Ruin Your Groove. And then the new studio album, Great Disasters, by ANTiSEEN. All right, Malcolm, you got some stuff you want to talk about. How about laying it on me real quick?
Well, this is a sort of glimpse into the life here at Clayton Manor. When I first came here to visit, after you'd moved in and invited me into your home a little while ago, I walked in the front door, took a look at the right-hand wall in your living room, and my eye was immediately drawn to the cases and the bookshelves full of books. I myself pride myself on my library at home, and so I'm always drawn to a good library.
We're a book family here. We like books.
Yeah, I've seen that. Many topics, many different subjects, not just the music and the rock and roll, but all kinds of stuff. I, of course, for the intents and purposes of Break On Through, I'm going to focus on the rock and roll and the music. So, I took a little perusal through Jeff Clayton's personal library and picked out a few books, which we'll have a bit of a book discussion about. And I picked books that I personally don't have, that I've never read.
Okay.
I need to get some learning here about these. And the insights that you have about these books. And as we did last time I was a guest here on Break On Through, I mean, I'm sure you can guess what some of these are, but I have them turned so that the titles are not visible, the spines are not visible.
I actually don't know what one of them is right now.
Okay. So the surprises continue here on Break On Through. So I'm going to reach to the bottom of the pile right here and pull out the first book from the Jeff Clayton Presidential Library. And that is this one right here, Ingrid Pitt.
Yep, Miss Ingrid Pitt. Let me show you something about this book, Malcontent.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, not bad. Not
bad. Oh, yeah.
That's a signature, by the way, if you people don't know what you're looking at. A signature in the hand of Ingrid Pitt.
Yep.
Now, here's my question, because I've seen your posts on Instagram, and if you people out there have followed or are following Jeff Clayton, you know many posts about Ingrid Pitt. Okay, here's where I lay it on the line. Here's where I stick a fork in it and raise it up in the air for all to see. I don't know who Ingrid Pitt is.
Okay. Ingrid Pitt, whom I first discovered from watching late night horror movies. I think the first one I ever saw her in would have been Countess Dracula. And then soon after saw her in Vampire Lovers and House That Dripped Blood. She was just, she usually played a vampire or a vampire-esque character. And as a kid, I was just completely hypnotized by her beauty. It's just in their accent and everything. And I just, that lasted till I was an adult. Matter of fact, Mom didn't have too tight of reins on me when it came to watching horror movies. And I mean, like I said, most of these came on late night UHF channels back then. But yeah, they would play stuff like Vampire. I mean, of course, they couldn't have the nudity, but still a lot of pretty racy stuff, even for edited television. But I guess I loved her most in House That Dripped Blood, where she plays the actress that turns into the vampire at the end. That's where that famous picture of her coming out of the coffin, all busty and fangs glaring and everything, comes from House That Dripped Blood. But she's got an interesting story. She's actually Polish. People think she's Russian, but she was from Poland. And she tells a story in here about how her parents escaped the Nazis and stuff, and things like that. And she had a pretty exciting life as a kid and a teenager. And I guess she was just a natural, man. Her first big break to American audiences was actually a film with Clint Eastwood and Richard Burton called Where Eagles Dare. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A very exciting film, a war film. I mean, the film's great no matter what, but you put Ingrid Pitt in there too, it just kind of adds to the greatness. And always been a fan ever since I saw her when I was a young man.
Right on.
Continue to be a fan to this day, even though she is no longer with us.
Right. Now, those films, were those Hammer films that she starred in?
Vampire Lovers was a Hammer film. She was actually, she's considered one of the most popular Hammer girls, but she really was not in many Hammer films. Hmm. A lot of those were American International.
Oh, right.
And, and they had the Hammer vibe to them.
Yeah.
And it was all in that same time period, from the early to mid 70s. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And maybe the people, just in case they don't know what a Hammer film is. Hammer
was an English film company, and their specialty was period pieces. Everything they did, looked like it took place in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, stuff like that. And not all of them, but 90% of them. And great stuff. I don't imagine there's too many beginners here, but if they're ever looking for a place to start, man, any of that Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing Hammer movies, great place to start. You can't go wrong no matter how you pick.
Right on. as Ryan Minton says, gothic horror. I mean, yes. It sums it all up, doesn't it? Right on. Ingrid Pitt. Mm. Excellent bit of information here. Okay, book number 2 from the book bag here. I know this one's going to be near and dear to your heart. And I popped when I saw this one. Now, the people who see this don't know what that is, unless we show them the spine. And I hope you guys... Actually, I think that the author would appreciate the fact that this is a backwards. But there it is. I'm reading it here. It says, Nascere drank Icor Regor Ver Shrenipo, or if you wish, Openers by the Reverend Roger Roky Erickson. This is a Roky Erickson hardcover book. What is this, man?
This is a book that I think Rocky's mom may have self-published for him. How many there are, I am not clear. Oh, look at there.
Yeah.
There's the original picture of when we first met him in 1991. And I when Roky passed away, I did talk about this. I don't know if it was on a break on through, but I think I did a go live and just talked about Roky. But look at this. This is one of the prized possessions of my collection. Roky wrote this. He says, "To my double, Jeff Clayton, R. Erickson." That's from the man himself right there.
I'm mildly envious. That's pretty good.
And if you say, "Oh yeah, I've got Roky Erickson openers," and you're talking about that big, thick, softback book that Henry Rollins' company put out, you don't really have openers. I mean, this is a good book, and I appreciate Mr. Hank for making sure that a lot of people got to see this stuff. But man, this was, I guess he sold this at shows. If he did shows, or this is when he was considering himself a reverend.
That's the first thing I saw. The Reverend
Roger Roky Kynard Erickson. But this is rare. I don't know how rare, but the fact that it's signed to me from Roky makes it one of the centerpieces of my entire collection.
Absolutely. And this is it lyrics, poetry? What
Poetry.
Exactly? Poetry.
Mhm.
Wow, that's great. Let's make a good spoken word album at some point. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing the idea out there, you know. So a lot of these titles I don't recognize. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think any of them were songs.
Wow. Very cool. Fanboy in me is geeking out. All right. Another book from the pile. This is the one you might have seen. This is really cool. You mentioned earlier Captain Beefheart.
Mm.
So what we have here is Lunar Notes, Zoot Horn Rollo's Captain Beefheart Experience. I have not read this. My first impression, knowing what I know now about the story of Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band from this period, this might be a really grim, depressing book. Is it?
To be honest with you, I read it so long ago that I don't remember because I've read so much about Captain since then. But usually anything, you're right, from that time period, it's not a happy story.
No. I mean, he was practically brainwashing these guys, starving them, working them to death to make this album, to make this music.
It was written by a guy named Billy James, whom also played in the band with Mike Bruce when he was doing solo. He is also the author of No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh, that's right. Okay, right. And there's a definite Charlotte connection because he was from Charlotte.
Right, and well, he was from Wilmington.
Okay.
But he also did a Grand Funk book.
Which one?
It's called American Band.
Oh, that's him?
Yes.
That's a good book.
And I contributed to that. But if you look in the credits, I gave Billy copies of Mark Farner's solo records.
Mm-hmm.
I never got them back.
Well, all right. Billy James, if you're out there.
Give me back my records! But Billy does a really good job on these books, man. And it definitely gets into the friction with him and Zappa.
Yes.
That's legendary.
Yeah. Yeah.
These two guys were so alpha male that they couldn't basically sit in a room together.
Yeah, Jimmy Carl Black, who played both in the Mothers and the Magic Band at one time, had some really interesting observations about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you get egos that big together, and yes, alpha males in control at all times, you know, nothing's going to give, really. Mm-hmm. But I always got the impression that Beefheart kind of thrived on that sort of tension and that sort of conflict and channeled all of that into the music, because that music is just like, at all times. Not not like heavy metal or rock and roll, but just like tension. And
you could use Trout Mask Replica if you had people of not a very strong will. You could break someone down with Trout Mask Replica.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Like you could use it as a torture technique. So, like my wife cannot take a second of it.
Dude, I love to introduce someone to Trout Mask Replica. All you got to do is put on side 1, drop the needle in the groove, and within the first 10 seconds of Frownland, you know exactly where somebody stands. And it usually ain't pretty.
I told you, man, whenever I worked at Repo, that's how we used to clear the store.
Yeah.
You know, it's like 5 till 7 and someone's walking around looking through dollar records like, you know, they're making the biggest investment of their life. And you're just like, man, get the fuck out of here. Hey, Trout Mask Replica.
Yeah.
Frownland, man, they wouldn't make it to the end of Frownland. They'd be out the door.
Yeah, always play it at a certain volume too, like not really at the threshold of pain, but just enough so they know it's there, and they can't really think about anything else.
And you can't zone it out.
No. You do not tune that out. You react one way or another. I love it.
Me too.
I love
it.
it.
From the first time I heard Frownland, I was like, oh my God, I love this.
It took me some time, but I knew whatever it was, like I knew I didn't get it, but I knew I wanted to get it. And after a few listens, I started to get it. And that's an album that bow and worship to, man, utterly.
So, yeah, that's another one. You learn about new stuff on here. I'm not saying that, we're these gurus of music, but if you have not listened to Trout Mask Replica by Captain Beefheart and the Magic Man, do yourself a favor, and it's on anything, iTunes, if that exists, I don't know, Spotify,
YouTube.
It's on there. Now, Ryan mentions Bat Chain Puller. You're talking about stuff for the seasoned fan. Now, this Trout Mask Replica is the big leap, and when you jump in that pool, you either splash around, enjoy, or you get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's the test. That's the litmus test. The blimp. The blimp.
It's a big hit, Frank. It's the blimp. It's the blimp. It's either you know or you don't.
So no. Get hip. Listen to it tonight.
Do it.
All right, we got a couple more here.
Yeah, we got a couple more here. This one really intrigued me. This one, I believe another self-published book. Look at this. David Allen Coe. Just for the record, I have never seen this in my life, sir.
You're right. These are self-published books, man. Coe had a series of these. Well, apparently he got hip to a printer that would do these things, and man, for the longest time, like seeing David Allen Coe in Charlotte, North Carolina, it used to be part of the Thanksgiving holiday, because for years he would play the night before Thanksgiving, a Wednesday, at the Palomino Club on Albemarle Road. It was just like for years, and it became what we did. And he would have these for sale. There was this one. There was a David Allen Coe scrapbook, which I have. One called Prisoner or Convict. I have that one too. This is the best of them all, just for the record. Now, it's wild. Is it true? Anyone that knows anything about David Allen Coe know that much in the vein of people like Chopper Reed, or even Dee Dee Ramone for that matter, why would you ever let the truth get in the way of a good yarn?
Dee especially, his books are kind of like these lengthy hallucinations set down in print.
Like a Chopper Reed book, he'll tell you, yeah, some of it, we embellish a little bit, but he goes, but if I told you which was 100% truth, you wouldn't believe me.
Right.
So you just kind of go, yeah, Rick, you do need it, but I'm telling you, man, I don't think you're going to find this cheap. I mean, hopefully, maybe you will. Maybe some old guy passes away and his family don't know what he has and put it on eBay or in a thrift store or something. You can get it for, I don't know, $2. But chances are, if I'm selling this, I know what it is. And it ain't going out of this house for no $2 or $3. I can promise you that. So, all right, what's the last thing we got here, son?
Last thing we got here is something that made my eyes bug out just a little tiny bit. Just because of the title of the book. I hope that people can see this. I didn't know, Jeff Clayton, that you were an adventurer and that you'd been to the Orient and sailed the seas and had books written about you. What's up with this, man?
You know how the intro I gave you about all the things you are the star of?
Yeah.
Well, I'm the star of those things. But I'm also the star of all those things in the Orient, Europe, Russia, and other countries that no one cares about. But this has an interesting story to it. This was sent to me by another book author, a Mr. Jim Goad.
Oh, Jim Goad. People recoil at the very sound of that name.
I mean, I don't know. We may have already been zapped by even saying his name on here. Jim Goad sent me this because it is my namesake. Jeff Clayton's Pursuit, or A Strange Quest Among the Heathen. Now, admittedly, I've not read it.
Right. I mean, you already lived it. Why?
Yeah, I lived it. I mean, but there's a series of books called Jeff Clayton's so-and-so, so-and-so. I'd like to get some more of them. I don't know if these are from England. I think they actually are. Well, it's just published in Cleveland.
Cleveland, Ohio, yeah.
Man, I don't have my readers on. Can you see what year this might have been?
Let's take a look. This would be, 1910.
1910.
That's old, baby.
Man, I've been doing adventures before most of you ever even thought of anything, adventurous or otherwise.
And he's aged so well. I mean, in spite of being amongst the heathen on strange quests and under the sea and on top of the sea, you've done
all those Jeff Clayton books? Are those other titles you can get?
No, apparently,
of my adventures?
No, apparently there are other imposters to the sort of adventurehood of Jeff Clayton, but they're not relevant. Okay. But there's 132 of them, which is interesting.
Goodness gracious!
Yeah.
How much adventure can there be going on in the world at one time?
So much. I mean, gosh, India, My Love Kitty. That's not you. Pretty Miss Bello. That's not you. I think there's a little bit of confusion here. There's definitely not all Jeff Clayton books. But we do have this one.
So we know that exists. So if anyone else happens to run across any Jeff Clayton's so-and-so books, send them to me. I'll send you something back in exchange for it.
That's right. P.O. Box 4905, Rock Hill, South Carolina.
29732.
You have no excuse now. We all know that happiness is a full mailbox, so make this man happy.
well, Mr. Tent, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Well, all right then.
But what's on board tomorrow for Tent Talks Tunes?
Ooh, Tent Talks Tunes. I heard a rumor that there might be a sort of extension of what we've done here today.
Oh, okay.
There's a distinct possibility of that. Should the stars line up that way, because as you know, I'm in town for ANTiSEEN business. And tomorrow is going to be the first rehearsal for the big show in Gastonia at Freeman's Pub. Friday! Tomorrow is Wednesday, the show's on Friday. So we got a whole new set of songs that we are learning, and I think it sounds pretty dang good myself. It's a very powerful, forceful, in-your-face kind of alpha male set, if you know what I mean, Jelly Bean.
Oh, yeah?
So we, the backline, myself, Sir Barry Hannibal, and Mad Brother Ward, are going to get together and take this set and sort of beat it with clubs and rough it up a little bit, get it softened up and work it a bit and like mold it and pound it on the floor and knock it into shape, stack it back up and say, that's a set for Jeff Clayton to come in on Thursday and we do a full band rehearsal. So that's what's happening tomorrow from 4 p.m. until probably sometime around 7 when it's my time to go live on my Facebook page for Tent Talks Tunes. And I just thought it might be really cool to come back here to Clayton Manor and look at some more books, but maybe talk about ones that we have both read.
Okay.
And really get into a critique party.
So, are you going to be on time tomorrow, or are you going to be slightly off schedule?
Should be good. I mean, usually we're able to knock it out in a couple hours. So I'm thinking that we should be able to go live at the usual 7 o'clock time. If not, then, maybe a little bit later. Whatever. It's the internet. They're flexible. They're malleable. You people will be watching, I know. I have faith in all of you.
So if you like what you saw today, tune into Tent Talks Tunes tomorrow to get a little more. And if you still have not had your fill, give it a rest for Thursday. But then Friday, join us in Gastonia, Freeman's Pub. And we will lay it on the line. It'll be like fine wine. And you know what to do. Just be ready when it's time to break on through again.